Hey everyone, it's Mojaxx back in the DJ City UK lab. Now, it's almost a year since I started doing this series of videos for DJ City, and in that time, you guys and girls have given us a lot of requests for different types of content that you want, whether that's tips, tutorials, focusing on certain technologies or products you want to see reviewed, and I'm always happy to receive that from you guys because ultimately this is your channel. We want to share knowledge that's useful to you and you can benefit from. Now, there are two topics that keep on coming up. The first of which is library management. It's a massive topic, a huge topic, which will take us many weeks to get through, and we will get to that later in 2016. The other one is mixtapes. Lots of different questions around different aspects of mixtapes. Now, I'll always call them mixtapes because I'm old school. That just feels right to me. But you know what I'm talking about. Recorded mixes that as DJs, we have to have out there. It's just impossible to be a DJ who doesn't have some kind of recorded mixes out there. This is our calling card. You know, as much as I'm into YouTube mixes and all kinds of stuff like that, it is an oral medium, DJing. It's important that the music is always first and people can find music mixed by you to demonstrate your skills, demonstrate your taste, and so on. This is massively important. Now, there are lots of different aspects we're going to cover. So we're going to do a different video every 4 weeks on the topic of mixtapes until we have exhausted it completely. So today will just be a quick tip, but we're going to talk about, in future, we're going to talk about doing multi-track mixing, live mixing, how to edit your mixes, how to master your mixes, how to actually get them out there, which platforms are going to be the best ones to use now in 2016 as we move forward. We're going to talk about burning to CDs and actually getting CD duplication done, loads of intros, outros, all kinds of stuff, right? Loads of different topics to cover. So we'll start with just a basic little tip today. Now, there are two schools of thought on mixtapes. There is the live mixtape, of course, which is the fundamental. You get your decks or your CDJs or your controller, press record, and off you go, which is cool. And if you make the odd kind of error here and there with those, that's fine. It gives it a human feel. You know, anyone listening who knows what they're talking about will actually appreciate a little bit of sound of that, just kind of live, that slight pitch bending, pushing stuff into line, because they'll appreciate it is being mixed live and it's not pre-recorded. On the other hand, you might want to do a full-on studio-produced multi-track thing that's absolutely perfect and you've got loads of layers going on, or you're mixing in Ableton all together. That is also cool, but that's a different thing. So we're talking today in this little tip just about how to fix a live mix that goes wrong. You know, it's cool to have those little kind of human things going on, but if you make a massive mistake, then you've got a problem. You don't want to put out something which just has a really bad sounding mix in it. And that's fine if you're like 10, 15 minutes into your mix and it all goes wrong, just start over, okay, that's fine. But let's say you're doing an hour-long mix, you're 40 minutes in and you're going beast mode, it's going crazy, you're just rocking the decks, everything's working fantastically, it's sounding so good, you're never gonna be able to recreate this 45 minutes that you've just done, and then you make a silly mistake, something goes horrendously wrong, or your equipment goes wrong, or the needle jumps, or whatever it might be, something that's a real showstopper happens. What do you do? How do you get out of that without having to go back and start over again? It's quite simple, and a lot of you will know this one, but you know, it's worth having in your arsenal if you're not aware of it. Basically, all you do, don't stop the recording, keep it going. And you're just gonna go out to your outgoing track. So in this case, I'm on the left-hand deck and I was mixing the right-hand deck into that one. The left-hand deck, I'm just gonna go back to the start of that track. I'm not gonna mess with the pitch. I'm gonna leave that where it was. I'm gonna reset the levels to where they were on the gain control, the actual fader position, everything else, where it was before I started to do that mix. So just keep that recording rolling, keep it going. Then you're gonna start that track over, you're gonna play through again, and then you're gonna do that mix, and you're gonna carry on as if nothing had gone wrong. Now, of course, when you then go and put this file into your computer to sort it out and finalize it and everything else, you're gonna have a big gap in there. So what you're gonna do is go back and find a point before the mix in. So where that dodgy mix began, you're gonna go a little bit before that. So the left-hand deck was playing on its own, and that was the only thing playing. You're gonna find a defined beat in there, start of a phrase or something like that, and just chop it right there. Now, I'm using Audacity here, which is a free waveform editor. I prefer to use Adobe Audition. SoundForge is great as well. Whatever your wave editor of choice is, go for it. You know, anything will do this, basically. You're gonna find that beginning of that phrase and just chop it right there. You're then gonna move on to that second part of your mix where you'd actually started over again. You're gonna find that exact point in the outgoing track, and you're going to chop to that point there as well, and you're just going to join the two together. Nice and simple. And as long as you haven't messed with the levels too much or the pitch or anything like that, it should be a seamless edit between those two. So you're literally going from part 1 into part 2, and then off you go with the rest of your mix, and no one's going to be any the wiser. Yeah, it is kind of cheating, but ultimately, why should you throw away that 40 odd minutes of amazing mixing that you were doing? That's really wasteful, you know? And as long as you can do it live, then you can do it live. You know, that's the point of doing a live mix, is to demo what you can do in a real life situation. And whilst this is kind of cheating, it's not taking away from that. You're not doing something that you couldn't do in the club. 9 times out of 10, that mix would go perfectly. But on this occasion, it just didn't. So I don't think there's anything wrong with that at all. So there we go, a quick tip to start off our Mixtape Masters mini-series. Thank you very much for watching today. Make sure you subscribe for all our future tips, tricks, and product reviews. I'll see you soon.